and Scotty McKay. Can you believe it's Super Bowl 55 already? And we can't hear Scotty McKay. All right, well, it's Super Bowl 55, and it just, I can't believe. I mean, I remember watching Super Bowl. My first recollection of a Super Bowl was Super Bowl III, Scooter.
That's your first recollection?
Yeah, Joe Namath.
Right. Well, it's a very memorable one, that's for sure.
All right, so I'm excited about our first guest, Scooter, because he played a long time in the NFL. He appeared in 4 Super Bowls and got a trophy with Dick Vermeil. Let's go to the sports hotline and welcome into the locker room former Eagles punter, a Super Bowl champion, Mike Horan. What's up, Mike?
Hey, morning, guys. How you guys doing?
All right, great, Mike. I want to ask the first question that came to my mind when I read all about you is, does it ever get old going to the Super Bowl?
Well, it never gets old going. It's what you shoot for every year, and it's always great to get there. But when you lose, there's a bit of a hangover.
Yeah, they say it's really tough when you lose. When you get to that championship game and you lose, it's devastating. That feeling. But as a player, like, I guess if you're on the same team, you'd have. But if you go like different teams, is it different emotionally? Like, are you invested in one team or the other? I know it's because it's a business, but is it still the inside? Do you still get that same feeling inside, even though it's a business?
You really do. You get that same feeling. It's quite an event. It's a worldwide event, and you're on a big stage, and a lot of emotions, a lot of butterflies. It's just a great feeling. Unfortunately, those 3 Super Bowls I went to with the Broncos, we came up on the short end, and it was, a couple of those were not real pretty as far as the final scores go. So that was a bit of a hangover to deal with.
Hey, Mike, it's Scott McKay. How you doing?
Oh, great. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I had a bunch of questions, but one of the things is, as a punter, are you more interested in being on a great team where you might not have to punt as much, or do you want to be more involved in the game, which would probably end up being on a lousy team?
That's a good question. But I'd rather be the Maytag repairman, that's on a great team that doesn't need my services. Obviously, when I go on the field, it's because the offense failed,
right.
To get another first down or score. So, I'd rather win. Winning is a lot more fun than punting, 10, 12 times in a game.
You get paid the same way, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. You're not getting paid per kick.
Oh yeah, there have been some games where I got paid more per play than Elway or Warner did.
Right. And I don't think people give credit to the punters enough because your job is really crucial. I mean, you've been known. I think one of your biggest claim to fame was you were the coffin corner kicker. I mean, you were 262 times you were with inside the 20, and only 83 that were touchbacks. I mean, that's an art right there.
I was just saying it's a lost art, Scooter.
Yeah, you can pin a team back and cause your team to be successful because of it.
Yeah, that's thank you for that compliment. I really felt like I was an asset to the defense. Anytime you can push the field back and get them inside the 20, give them a longer field to go, it just decreases their chances of scoring inside the 20. It is. You don't see that much happen much anymore where guys are trying to kick the ball out of bounds inside the 20. But when I got to the Rams and I put one out inside the 15 on my first game with the Rams, and then during the special teams meetings the next day, Dick Vermeil is like kind of complimentary on that. But then he's like, ideally what we want the ball to be dropped between the numbers on the sideline and between the goal line and the 10. Because if you kick the ball out of bounds, you eliminate the possibility of a turnover, of a guy muffing the punt. And like, oh, okay. Not only now do I gotta, not only now do I have to control my direction, I have to control my distance too. But that's it's just a different philosophy.
Sure.
We're talking with Mike Horan, former Eagles punter who won the Super Bowl with the Rams and Dick Vermeil. And looking over your career, you played on a lot of teams, and this might be a tough question for you to answer, but you played for a lot of coaches. And talk to us about one of your favorite coaches, and like who was the best coach you played for and why?
Well, the one guy that I played for the most, which was like 11 years, was Dan Reeves, because I played for him in Denver and with the Giants. So yeah, I enjoyed playing for Dan. I probably felt like a comfortable old shoe to him. To hopefully he depended on me, relied on me to do my job when I went out there. But also, Dick Vermeil. That was my last year, and Dick's just a great guy, and just a real joy to play for.
I got to tell you, Mike, we've Scotty and I have had several players on the show, on the program during the course of the Eagles season with our Eagles pregame show, and we interviewed a lot of his former players, and I can't tell you, each and every guy, just nothing but high praises for Coach Vermeil. He's been on our show several times. He's a great friend of the show, but he added an extra dimension to coaching. He seemed like he really loved and cared about his players.
He really does care about his players. He's just so warm and personable. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. It's true. He cries in just about every meeting. He just gets choked up and emotional. He's just I love him.
That's awesome. Hey, Mike, you had over 1,000 punts in your career for over 42,000 yards. I got to ask you, how's your hips?
Yeah, the hips are good. I'm probably going to need a right knee replacement sometime in the next 5-10 years. But as long as I don't play racquetball or do any
Right.
sports that require a change of direction, I'm gonna squeeze a few more miles out of it.
That's cool. Did you ever get the call for the fake punt and have to run or throw it? And how'd that work out?
Okay. Yes, I do have. I'm 1 for 2 in my passing career. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I was actually for about half of my career I was the holder, and I threw a touchdown pass out of field goal formation with the Bears. It was more of a catch the ball and do a kind of a shovel pass to, it was Ryan Wetnight who was playing the wing on that side, and so I just kind of flipped it back directly kind of back towards the center. He caught it, went up through the center guard gap, 18 yards for a touchdown. So that was my I think I have a perfect passer rating.
Yeah.
It's better than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, right. We're talking with Super Bowl champion Mike Horan. Mike, it's funny you brought up the holding, because we had John Shira on, and he used to hold for extra points. He played with UCLA and of course with the Eagles.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You probably know John. Tell us about your experiences holding, because that's not as easy as it looks.
That's a real thankless job too. It's you never get the I don't know, the praise, the adoration, or whatever being a holder. But when you screw up, it really shows. And I dropped a snap in Super Bowl 34. I don't know if you know, those balls are used one time in the game. They just didn't spend a lot of time, I thought, breaking them in, and oh boy, they were pretty slick. But anyhow, yeah, it's a lot of fun, to hold that game-winning field goal, and be part of that, little celebration right directly afterwards on the field.
Hey, Mike, who you pulling for? Who you pulling for in this year's Super Bowl 55? Who you want to see win, and why?
I'm pulling for the old guy. I'm pulling for Tom Brady. I want to see him, in his 10th Super Bowl at his age. I was the oldest guy to win a Super Bowl for a brief period of time. I'm not sure who beat that record, but that was one claim to fame I had. But yeah, I'm going with Tom Brady. Just rooting for him.
Yeah, I
have. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say I do have I have a fake punt story that involves Eric Bieniemy. If you want to know.
Yeah, let's hear that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, at the 91 season, we are in San Diego. It's Bieniemy's rookie year. We're in San Diego playing for home field advantage, or at least a bye week. I forget exactly. And it was my third time punting in the first quarter. And we had gone 3 and out the first 2 times. And then the next one, I'm like, for one thing, if we have a bye week, I get to stay home in California and have a weekend with my family for a few days. And we get that bye week. And I think that's what's going through my mind. But when I got that third snap, I got a high snap. So it brought my eyes up, and I'm looking at the field, and I see nothing but names on jerseys going in the opposite direction. And I saw a clear window to the sideline, and I took it. It was not planned. I just took it. And I get to the sideline, and I'm noticing the guy picked up that little orange flag, the first down marker. And I'm like, I got to get as many yards out of this as I can. I can't not get a first down. I might as well just get on the plane right now. So
Right.
Getting to the sideline, and I go head first, and I duck under Eric Bieniemy, who's trying to tackle me, and he's being trailed by another teammate. And Eric's arm is out trying to grab my shoulder, whatever hit me, and he gets hit from behind by his teammate, and just messes up his shoulder. So I understand he's out of the game. He's got to have surgery on his shoulder, and it really screwed up the beginning of his rookie off season.
Oh man! all because you took it upon yourself to run.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But did you get the first down?
I got the first down. We kicked a field goal, and we won 17-14. And I got to go drive up the freeway to my house in Orange County.
Hey, Mike, one last question before we let you go. Being from California and then playing in Denver and playing in areas where the weather's not so nice, is it harder to kick? Is it harder to kick in warmer weather or colder weather? Like, what do you prefer?
Oh, I prefer warm weather, like inside in a dome. But in Denver, you got the altitude that does add a little bit of hang time and distance. But then you got to deal with the cold weather, so it's kind of a little trade-off.
Well, Mike, I wish we had some more time. I really appreciate you taking time and calling into the show. We really appreciate it, and much success and good talking to you.
Well, thank you, Brian, guys, very much. I appreciate you having me on.
All right,
There
Mike,
he is, Mike Horan on the Sports Hotline.